All right, always great to have my next guest on the show, Garrett Armfield, back in action on October the 29th at UFC Fight Night 213 when he meets Christian Rodriguez. Garrett, how are you?
I'm great, dude. How are you been?
I'm good. It must be nice for you to have this fight announcement and to know that you're going to be able to get a full camp in. That's the first thing I thought.
Yeah. It's because I found out like 12 weeks out, so 3 months is a little bit more time to prepare than 4 days or whatever it was last time. But yeah, it's nice. It's great being able to like take my time and really like not try to rush anything and slow down and just kind of game plan actually.
When you first found out about this matchup with Christian, how did you like the matchup? What do you think of when you think of his style versus yours?
I love the matchup. I think it's really cool how the UFC put us together. We're both guys that are new to the UFC, both got in the same way, and we both have similar striking styles. Like we both like to come forward and strike. None of us want to take a step back. So I love the matchup they made. It's going to be an exciting fight, and I'm really excited to show where my strengths match up with his weaknesses.
Did you watch his UFC debut against Jonathan Pierce live? And if so, like, what was your thoughts about this guy might be someone I'm fighting down the line?
So I didn't watch it live, but obviously once I got the name, we went back and watched all this footage. So I knew of him because I had a training partner that was friends with him whenever he used to train at their gym together. So like he was like, oh yeah, he might come down and stop here for a week or something. He was telling me, and then that never happened. And then I ended up getting his name, and I was like, oh, okay, cool matchup. He's got a lot of heart. He likes to, he doesn't have any quit in him, which I really do admire, and I love the fact that I get to fight somebody that has no quit in them. And that fight, Jonathan Pierce decided to take the grappling route, which was effective in his part, considering the weight gain, the weight difference, and it being on a couple days' notice. But I feel like there's many avenues that I could take to get this victory, and I wouldn't say there's one specific avenue because we're training all areas of my game to match up against his. And so I can sit there and be like, oh, I'm going to out-grapple him like JSP did. Yes, I can do that. But there's also like areas in striking that we know that we can exploit.
Okay. One of the things that I wanted you to clarify for me, when prepping for this interview, I went on Tapology, and I always thought that you were a 135, and I know your debut was at 145, but that's because it was short notice. On Tapology, it says this is a featherweight bout. Is that accurate, or will this be back at bantamweight?
This won't be back at bantamweight. Okay. It was just reported incorrectly. Yeah, no, it's back at bantamweight, which that's my natural weight class.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. That makes more sense. I was confused when I saw that. So glad to clarify that.
Yeah.
Last time I did speak with you too, man, was right before Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena fought for the second time, and you called it. Amanda went in there and did her thing. What was your overall impression of her performance?
I'm not that I say I was impressed, because I'm always impressed by her. It's nothing new. She's been dominating girls ever since for like past like 7-8 years. She's been kind of running through the competition. But it was cool being able to be there with her on fight week and kind of see like the swagger that she brings with her and the confidence that she brings with herself, and how professional everything's run with her and Nina, her wife, and how, everything runs as efficient as possible. I saw how easy it was for her to make weight, and just how smooth everything went, and the fight went smooth for her. I mean, she outclassed her. It was like 50-43 on a couple of judges' scorecards. So it was an awesome experience. I mean, plus I got to be front row for a UFC fight, so that was always badass too.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but I can imagine that it would be very, very cool. How's her eye? I know it looked kind of banged up afterwards. Is that something where it gave her like a little bit of a medical suspension, or is she good to go?
I didn't really talk to her about if she had a medical suspension or not. I'm sure she had a little bit, but her eye was caused by a headbutt, I think, in like the second round or so. But I mean, other than probably it being like a little bloodshot from the bruising, other than that, I think it's fine. I hope it's fine.
Yeah. Let me ask you to play MMA matchmaker here for me. If you were Nick Maynard or Sean Shelby or Dana White, who do you feel like should make the most sense for Amanda next?
Oh, I think they need to go like outside the organization and get what's her name? Kayla Harrison. Yeah, Kayla Harrison. I mean, that's the only other one that really makes sense right now, other than if she goes back and does like Shevchenko fight for the trilogy. But like other than that, she's kind of cleaned out the division, and Juliana Pena was like one of her last tests. So, I mean, if they could somehow like cross promotional lines and get that deal done, then I think that's obviously the fight to make, because everybody hypes her up, but she's never fought anybody like Amanda, and Amanda's fought a million girls like her. So that I think that'd be like the dream matchup for her, would be against.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sign me up, man. I love it. I think you're right on.
Awesome.
Maybe you have a future as an MMA matchmaker whenever you're done fighting.
Yeah, that was a real hard one, right?
Yeah, I know. It was a softball. I teed it up.
Yeah, you let me home run that one. Thank you.
I also wanted to get your overall thoughts on the UFC 278 main event. Leon Edwards pulling out a shocking upset, knocking out Usman late in the fight in the 5th round. Were you surprised by that? And what do you feel like is going to happen moving forward in that division? Do you feel like they should just immediately make that trilogy fight?
I think they should make the trilogy fight just due to Kamaru being so dominant for so long. Like, he was just walking through his opponents. But that fight was awesome. And especially when you go back and you look at the in corner instructions, it just makes it even more like a storyline in a movie. Like, it does actually feel like a Rocky movie, how he's losing and then he ends up coming back. Yeah. I didn't really know what to expect. I thought Leon, out of all the guys, I thought he could be the one to get the job done. I didn't think it was going to be like that. I didn't think it was going to be like a 1 minute left after Kamaru was winning 3 rounds to 3 out of the 5 rounds. I thought he was winning. To pull that off too is just like, I think it's just very inspirational, especially because Leon Edwards, he didn't fight for over 2 years. And, there's like a lot of ups and downs, but he eventually made it through, and now he's the champion, and it's really badass. Yeah, and I thought it was really cool how they showed before. I think and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure like they were game planning for that specific kick throughout the fight week or wherever it was. So there's luck involved in this game, but there's a lot more game planning than people think. It's not just like some barbaric sport where people are just trying to kill each other. Like, there's a method to the madness.
Right. They actually showed video footage of them drilling that jab and head kick before the fight that same day. And Leon waited until the 5th round to show that tool that he had. So, I mean, it's definitely not a fluke. That was something that he had been planning to do. And he just waited before, he showed that specific move to Usman. Do you feel like, one last question here. Do you feel like if Usman can't fight here in the immediate future, do you think Colby Covington or Chimaev would beat Leon Edwards? Or do you feel like Edwards has a chance against either of those guys?
Oh, he's the champ now, so I think he has a chance against all of them. Those are really interesting matchups. I think the fight with Colby, I think he gets through Colby. But like Ajmat, I don't know. That's a really hard one too, because that dude's like not afraid of anybody. That dude's not afraid to get punched in the face. I mean, like, he took overhand rights from Gilbert Burns, like full power, walked right through him. Yeah, that's a tricky one. I think I want to see Colby Covington versus Shamat or Hazmat, however you say his name. I want to see that first, and then whenever they do the run back, the rematch or the trilogy, and then the winner, I think, gets that match. I think that'd be a good idea.
All right, so many great matchups to talk about at the top of 170. Let's discuss your camp a little bit more. Obviously October 29th is a little ways out, so you still have plenty of work to do. What is the game plan moving forward to get yourself ready for Christian Rodriguez?
A big part of the game plan is going to be movement and angles. He likes to come forward in a straight line, and he likes to throw 1s and 2s right down the pipe. So we're really working on movements this camp, angling off, moving your feet, head movement, and then closing in that gap and winning the in-between spaces. It's like the little breaks of like from against the cage, like the little sneaky elbows you can throw in to like angling off throwing a calf kick. There's a bunch, there's like a bunch of new techniques that we're really implementing for this game plan, and it's awesome because like we know with Stanford or Kill Cliff FC, they're such a huge camp. For like the longest time I would get like mid work from like the assistant coaches, like the side coaches. You know, I'd just always work, and I'd just put my head down and work and work and work. And I would never ask for anything else. Like I'd never go up to like the head coaches and be like, "Hey, I want you to hold miss for me." You know, that's not my style. I think everything you get should be earned, earned and deserved. And so now it is awesome being in the UFC, and now it's like now I'm fighting for real money, and I'm getting more attention from all the coaches, and I really am excited to see how much my overall game explodes from, getting more attention, based around me. It's not all about attention, but uh, it does help being in the UFC or being in one of the major organizations when there's 60 fighters on a team,
Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be a specific training partner for this camp that might be able to emulate Christian the best for you?
Yeah, I've got a couple teammates that do a really good job at emulating fighters. Like my buddy Ronnie Lawrence, he can like watch a footage on somebody and replicate it right away. And I know he's going to be a big part of this camp. But regardless, I'm surrounded by killers every day. So it doesn't matter if they can be able to emulate him or not. I'll be ready. I'll be prepared, and it's gonna be a great fight.
What's it like at the gym nowadays? Just so much. The gym is just getting so much more and more attention as weeks and months go by. Are there random people that try and show up and that want to get in there and try and work, or is it pretty much closed off to the general public?
So it's closed off to the general public. It's you had to get clearance from one of the coaches before you can train, and so they don't let they wouldn't let like a guy that isn't ready yet to go in there and train. But they'll do like a trial. They'll give the guy like a week of tryouts, or at least like a couple days. Like they're like, all right, we'll see how you do on sparring on Tuesday, and if you can keep up, then you can come back for wrestling on Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, my roommate's the manager of the gym, so like he gets like constant, like his emails are flooded, and his phone is always ringing with people be like, oh hey, like can I come try out? I come try out, and it's kind of hard to weed out through which ones are ready to train there and which ones are not. But yeah, tryouts. I mean, like whenever I came down, I had to try out. Whenever it was still Hard Knocks 365 back then, that was like 3 years ago. But it's kind of been the same. They don't accept everybody. You got to try out. If they approve, then you get to train there.
Did you see that video of Chris Curtis and that I guess some street fighter that said he was like 99-0 or 100-0, and he came in to train down there at Syndicate, and what transpired? It was pretty nuts. I just wonder if anything like that ever happens at a gym that you've been to.
No, not like that. Not like a punk coming off the street saying he would like knock anybody out. We haven't had any of that. And I think that if somebody from like the street would come in and say that, I don't think my coaches would give them a time of day. Yeah. I think they would just be like, get out of here. Like, no, you can't even try. But like, yeah. I mean, if there's somebody that is like really like hounding one of the coaches, and they'll be like, okay, yeah, go in there and spar and we'll see how you do. And like, they'll usually put him up against the killer, This is what it is.
Yeah, and get him right out of the gym quick. Just bang him
up. Yeah. And shit, I mean, it if they can sit there and they like can take the beating, and like, all right, yeah, maybe this guy does have some heart. Maybe like we'll give him a shot. So.
All right. Well, formerly Sanford Kill Cliff FC. It is one of the best gyms on planet Earth. So I'm sure this camp is going to be fantastic for you. As far as the specific matchup, how do you feel you're going to win this one, Garrett? Do you think you're going to get him out of there, or is this a fight where you feel like it could go the distance?
I'm going to get him out of there. I definitely feel it coming in the second round. I know that my pressure and my pace is not going to be matched. And I think once he sees that I can strike and I can grapple, it's going to be a long day. But I'm feeling a second round finish coming my way. I've worked hard for it, and I know it'll be there.
All right, man. And as long as you're healthy, are you trying to get back in there before the end of 2022, or do you feel like that would just be kind of too close of a turnaround?
That's something I'm gonna have to wait till after the fight and see, because of course, like I like to fight. I love fighting. I love getting paid to fight, and I want to advance my career. But at the same time, I'm in no rush here. I just got signed to the UFC, so you know, if I get a couple months where I just get to slowly drill and just really improve my game, then that's something I would take as well. But again, it's fight to fight for me at this point.
All right, man. Well, I can't wait to see you back in the octagon again, October the 29th. Garrett Armfield fights Christian Rodriguez. Great talking to you again, as always. Before we do sign off, I want to give you the floor. Please tell people where they can follow you on social media. If you have anyone to thank, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you having me on. If you guys want to follow me on social media, you can just search Garrett Armfield on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. My profile will pop up there. Shout out to all my sponsors back at home, especially out of Eureka, Missouri, who, have helped a tremendous amount, and the amount of support I've gotten there is unreal. Love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm excited to put on a show for you guys here in about like 2 months or so.